Hello and welcome back to Image 1697. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after finding out that David was basically controlling Ransom with a demon. Or at least what passes for a demon in this visual novel. We also kind of saw why Ryan... Well, no, we didn't see. The reason why Ryan can see Ransom is because, if you remember from the previous visual novel, the rules of this universe are, if you accidentally take somebody out, or you do it on purpose, you end up being able to see the spirit world. So that's kind of the reason why Ryan can see the ghosts. It's not explicitly said in this visual novel, but that's why. And you might be wondering, well, why can't Ryan see anything else? Well, you're gonna find out soon. Anywho, also, Ryan retrieved the SD card, so it was kind of gross. Had to go through Ransom's insides because Ransom did indeed eat a part of his laptop, which is kind of funny. But like it survived the stomach acid, so like yay. And the group is back. Walter and Patrick are back. Unfortunately, Patrick had to kind of poke Walter in the eye because he was also possessed for a time. But apparently, in order to break the possession, you kind of have to like poke people in the eye, kind of like to jolt them out. And there is a reason why that is, but I'm not going to tell you that yet. Anyways, but we also finally saw Image 1697, and that was basically the image of the witch, or at least the thing that is being said that is a witch. But yeah, finally, the namesake of the visual novel is finally shown. And then finally we ended up basically being attacked by Ransom's possessed father. And that wasn't pretty. The whole conversation wasn't pretty, but like you could kind of understand where Ransom was coming from. So it wasn't sort of like a, oh my God, you're being so mean to your dad. No, like he kind of had it coming. So like, yeah, like you can see where he was coming from. Anyways, so yeah. I wonder how the story's gonna end. I guess we should continue the story. It's oddly quiet in here. No music booms throughout the hall, no chatter of lively patrons, not even the sound of a game on TV. It's not even that late. I'm sure that most bars are still open by now, right? Wait. I stop in my tracks when Ransom holds his hand up. Patrick also stops, though not without giving me a confused look. What? What is it? Something's off. Ransom inches towards the door, heading to the bar's dining room. I also tiptoe towards the door until I see a sliver of the dining room. But from that sliver I see some kind of blue flashing. Ransom peeks his head around the door and immediately backs away from it. The TVs. They're showing the hypnotizing image. I tense up and back away from the door myself. Patrick just looks even more confused. Ryan? Talk to me. What's happening? It's the image. We need to go through here. Whatever you do, do not look at the TVs. I creep closer towards the door. I keep my head down and raise my arm to block the view above me. And then I peer around the door. The bar is full, but everyone is looking at the TVs. They're not moving. They're entranced by the flashing screens. I'm almost tempted to lower my arm and look at the TV itself to see just what this image is. Hey, don't look at the TVs. I try to call out to the patrons, but they don't respond. Look away. You're gonna have to do something about that. I look around the bar, trying to avoid glancing at the multiple TVs lined up around 3 of the walls. The bar is decorated with sports memorabilia. Among them are football helmets, posters, signed jerseys, and baseball bats. Baseball bat. I still myself, getting ready to do something stupid. Fuck. And then I emerge from the hall and make a beeline towards the first bat that I see. Ryan? It takes several tries, but I manage to pry the bat off of its display on the wall. I find the nearest TV end. Ryan? Don't look at the TVs. Everyone look away. It's hard to smash the TV above me while also keeping my head down. I back away as soon as I feel a piece of glass falling on me. And then I move on to the next one and repeat the process. I navigate the room using the flashes on the wall. None of the patrons move as I break every TV that I can. They're just shells of themselves. Patrick cowers in the hall, and Ransom looks at me with admiration. Are spirits immune to the image? Soon, I don't see any more flashes in the room. Still clutching the bat, I move away towards the hall and look up at my handiwork. Damn, nice work. But then, the patrons finally move. Their heads all snap towards me, and I can see the wild look in their eyes. Oh shit. This way! Ransom bolts through the bar towards the front door. One of the patrons roars and then starts running towards us. Come on! I grab Patrick's wrist and sprint towards Ransom. Patrick is initially thrown off balance, but he starts running when he sees the wild patrons charging at us. Holy shit! Holy shit! At first, he just evades the wild animals. I would use the bat, but if I were to stop now, I would be ambushed immediately. I don't even want to know what would happen if Patrick and I were swarmed by feral animals. I spot Ransom outside the front door, frantically beckoning us towards him. A cougar leaps off the table. I duck to avoid it, and its claws just barely graze the top of my head. Patrick and I dive out of the front door. There's the church! We dash across the street towards the dark church. The sound of shattering glass cracks through the night, accompanied by a cacophony of sounds that I've never heard a person make. I hope that we lose them in the forest. Soon we break the tree line and we sprint deep into the forest. My body is aching already. I already feel like I'm gonna collapse. But if I do, who knows what will happen? A chorus of pitter-patters and wild screams roars behind us. Ryan, do you even know where to go? Yeah, I got this. Just keep running. In truth, I would have gotten lost in seconds. But Ransom sprints ahead of us, but not too far that I lose him, so I just follow his lead. It feels like we've been running forever. My fur is damp with sweat, and my face gets assaulted by a chilly wind. The ride behind us becomes quieter. It seems like some of the animals have lost us. But the running footsteps continue to pound in my ears. Finally, we reach the clearing with the tower. Without any hesitation, we sprint towards the structure and climb it. My body is already tired, but the climb up the rotten stairs makes me feel like I'm gonna die. Soon there is nothing but fog surrounding us. We reach the top. I don't stop. I immediately run out of the balcony and look for the ruins. I don't hear anything on the stairs. I think we're safe up here. I have to strain my eyes to see it, but I somehow manage to spot the structure jutting out from the tree line. There! Okay, now we just have to... What was that? A loud pop shakes the tower. I run down the stairs and try to look down to see what's happening on the ground. It's hard to see, but there is a bull on the ground. They walk away from the tower for a bit before charging back towards it. The impact sends a shockwave throughout the tower. Oh shit. I sprint back up to the top. What's happening? The tower's going down! In the cupboard! Get down! I follow Ransom's orders without hesitation. Patrick follows my lead and we cramp ourselves in the tiny cupboard. Another crack, the tower lunges backwards. At first, Patrick and I slide against one of the walls of the cupboard. and then the world turns sideways. I hug my boyfriend as we fly through the air. Ah! A ringing pounds my ears. I am drifting through space. The world is spinning around me in every direction. Where am I? What day is it? Ryan? There's a distant voice. Ryan, is that my name? My left arm. It feels like it's on fire. Ryan, get up! Oh God, it's throbbing now. Something wet runs down my hand. Ryan! My eyes snap open and I see a bear above me. I breathe as if I'm emerging from underwater. Ryan, thank God. Are you okay? What? I crawl out of the cupboard, which is now suspended in the air. I fall to the ground. The impact against broken wood, steel, and hard dirt sends another shockwave through my body, and I'm surprised that I don't break anything from the fall. A sharp pain stings my left arm. Ah! I look at my arm, and even in the dark, I see the sleeve soaked with some dark substance. My bicep throbs again, and I realize that I'm bleeding. But what? I look back at the cupboard. Tree trunks stab through the destroyed cabin. Wait. Patrick? It doesn't take me long to spot the line lying on the ground. Patrick? I scramble over to him and shake him. But he doesn't move. I turn him over on his back and I get a look at his face. A deep gash cuts through the top of his head, sending a river of blood running down his face. Pat? I shake him again, harder. Pat, please, get up! Finally, the lion weakly opens his eyes. He breathes, but it's hoarse and weak. Pat, are you okay? Can you get up? The lion just barely lets out an exhale. He needs help. Go. The word is barely audible, and yet it stabs me in the heart. Ryan, we need to go now. Panic rises in my chest. What? No, I'm sorry, but he's too weak. We're gonna have to leave him. No, please. I can't just... Ryan! The bear yells and immediately draws back. He looks at me with a pained, apologetic expression on his face. I'm sorry, but we have to keep going. We'll get him help, I promise. I look back at the bleeding lion. My boyfriend. Go. I hesitate. The cut looks horrible. He needs help now. But I won't be able to get service out here. I don't want to do this. I lean down and kiss Patrick's muzzle. I love you, Pat. I'll be back. Something slithers outside. A hissing pierces my ears. Wait, no. Another hiss, this time above me. Just when I'm about to look up, something falls into the cabin. It hits the ground limply, like a rag doll. And it raises its head, faces me, and hisses again. A rattlesnake. No. It slithers towards me and Patrick. Its arms and legs are limply dragging along as it moves. That's a person. And the way that they're just slithering like that, it's enough to paralyze me. We're already in a precarious position because of the windows beneath me, but now? Ryan? Patrick can't do anything, neither can Ransom. I have to. The snake raises its head and it shows off its venomous, dagger-like fangs. Ryan! My body moves on its own. I charge forward and tackle the wild snake. I grab it by the neck and we fall out of the tower. It's surprisingly high and the impact hurts. But I keep my grip firm. The snake rides around under my hold. I shove its head to the ground and it hisses in aggressive protest. I need to keep going. But if I let go of the snake, it's gonna bite me. Wait, the snake was hypnotized. So was Walter, and Patrick somehow got him out of it. How did he... His eye. Praying that my theory is correct, I bare my mangled claw and poke the serpent in the eye. Ah! What the hell? Almost immediately after, the snake squirms again, but not in an untamed way. Yeah, what? Get off of me! In fact, they're talking. I let go of them, and they immediately scramble away from me, their limbs moving again. What the hell was that? Where am I? Sorry, Wait, perhaps they can help. Which way was the town again? Okay, look. You're at the forest watchtower. The town is that way. Now listen, there is an injured lying up there, and he needs help immediately. You think you can get him down and go to the hospital? Hey, slow down, kid. What's happening? Look, I know that this is weird, but I need you to not ask questions and just help him, okay? You don't look so good. Also, what are you going to do? There is something that I need to do. Help him, please. Without another word, I estimate the direction of the ruins and run in that direction. What? Hey! Ransom jumps, or floats, down and joins me, making sure that I'm going in the right direction. When we're a good enough distance from the tower, I turn around to look at it. The cabin is suspended in the trees, speared by the twisted trunks. At the base, I can see the bull leaning against one of the main support beams, his head caved in. Ransom and I waste no time. It takes me a minute to regain my footing, but soon I'm sprinting through the forest again. It's so dark and cold. My body is exhausted. But I force myself to keep going. Nothing is chasing us right now, so Ransom and I take a welcome break and walk. The forest is vast. I see nothing but trees in every direction. My body just wants to give up and rest. It feels like we've been walking for hours when Ransom speaks up. There it is. I perk up at his words. He points ahead at us, and I see something that stands out from the forest. A stone archway. Even though the hotel burned down in the 1930s, it feels like I'm stumbling up upon some kind of ancient treasure. I can only imagine how grand this thing was when it was still standing. The entrance is menacing, and beyond I see nothing but dark. Wow. Here we go. Ransom approaches the hotel ruins, and I follow close behind. When we head inside, the ruins suddenly become a sprawling complex. They almost feel as vast as the forest consuming them. Damn, ruins at this scale were hidden in Greylock's forest? Okay, so where are the Zodiac shields? They're in the ballroom, which is right around... I follow the bear around what seems to be a hallway, and he glances from empty doorframe to empty doorframe. Here. He then heads to one particular arch, and I follow. We find ourselves in an oval-shaped space, the walls defined by arches. Damn, it's like Stonehenge in here. Yep, it looks like it, huh? The bear snickers at the remark. I never really heard him laugh often, so this is nice to hear. He walks right into the center of the ballroom. Alright, so you know where to... In a mere second, Ransom is on the ground, pinned by the demon. His screams and the demon's screech pierce the cold night. Ransom? Hello, Ryan. I freeze when I hear that voice. Dread boils in my stomach once again when David emerges into the ellipse of the arches. David? You shouldn't be out here, Ryan. These woods can be dangerous at night. I look over at Ransom. The demon looms over him with its gaping maw, and the bear tries to restrain it by gripping its jaws. What is this? Oh, you're talking about that? That's nothing. Look, Ryan, I'll give you a chance. Just come with me, and we can forget this ever happened. I'll even clear your name. Do we have a deal? Wait, he can see Ransom too? The dread boils into anger when I remember what David did to him. And then I remember that I'm holding a baseball bat. Without thinking, I swing at the wolf. Ha! But David just grabs the bat, completely blocking the swing with no problem. And then he yanks the bat away from me with ease. Boy, that was a close one. David approaches me with the bat in hand, and I can't do much but feebly back away. Come here, Ryan. Run, Ryan! What? No, Ransom! I... Don't worry about me, just go! My breath gets short and I freeze again. David raises the bat. Ryan! And my instincts scream at me to run. Right as David swings the bat, I duck and I sprint to the center of the ring of arches. I scan the walls around me, and sure enough, there are shields bearing the zodiac signs above each arch. Which one was Scorpio? David regains his footing, and he approaches me again with fury in his eyes. All right, I've had enough of you little shits. The pointy M. I spot the shield that matches the one in Ransom's photos, and I don't wait a moment longer. I sprint through the arch, which leads me to what looks like another hall. Where are you going, Ryan? It's not gonna be worth it. David's teasing, Ransom screams, and the demon's screeches echo far behind me. Soon I find myself back in the forest. The forest sprawls around me once again. My muscles once again scream at me to stop, but I keep running. It isn't long before Ransom's screams become distant whispers in the wind. I have no idea where to go. I try my best to run in a straight line, but I worry that I'm just going to become lost in the woods forever. Soon I'm running uphill, which only worsens my exhaustion. Ah! My foot gets caught on the tree root, and I fall through the air before hitting the ground hard. But instead of getting up, my body just lays there. The leaves are surprisingly comfortable. The world spins around me once more. This is pretty peaceful. Nothing around me but forest. No people, no towns, no ghosts, no demons. Just me in the forest. I feel like I'm about to pass out for like the third time tonight. Jesus, has this all been one night? Perhaps that explains why I'm so tired. I just want to rest. I almost pass out just before I notice something that stands out from the sea of trees. I see a wall of some kind. And there's an opening in that wall that peers into pitch black. It's like a cave entrance? Hold on. Is that it? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. And so I force my aching body to move once again. I get up to my feet, which proves to be a difficult task. Once I manage to get my footing stable enough, I approach the cave. There's a force coming from that void, and it's drawing me in. I reach the entrance and I'm compelled to walk in. It doesn't take long before I'm swallowed by the void. It takes my eyes a minute to adjust to the darkness. Soon, all I can see is a tunnel ahead of me, beckoning me towards it. I can't even see the entrance. All I can do is walk forward. The cave feels like a throat as I trudge through it, even down to the way that it expands and contracts as I breathe. I'm walking into a literal belly of a beast. The air is cold and stale. It's even colder than the wind outside. The cave gets tighter and colder the deeper that I go. The air is choking like I'm underwater, or like some presence that's grabbing my neck and squeezing hard. And soon the cave splits off into two. Two tunnels going to separate voids. And on the wall nearby, I see something that stands out from the cave. A six-pointed star of some kind. I don't recognize the shape, but I feel like I've seen this symbol before. Where should I go? You're supposed to follow the star, so we're gonna go left. 3 caverns now. All of them look exactly the same. And if you recall correctly, you're supposed to go up. This cavern is a bit longer. I really have no choice but to go forward. The air becomes choking, and I can feel the cavern tightening. I fear that there's going to be a cave-in for a second. I feel something behind me. Someone's behind me. I can't tell who they are. I can't tell what species they are. But they stumble towards me. I should hurry. I keep moving forward. Another fork of 3 caverns. Somebody breathes behind me. Remember, you have to go up. Which is the highest one of these 3? Two caverns again. Somebody's breath caresses the fur on my nape. A cold blast hits me from one of the caverns, one that makes me shiver. But which one? Which one's highest again? The cavern gets darker, and yet I know where to go. And soon I come across something new. The tunnel becomes more square. Shapes resembling people decorate the walls. Skeletons. This is the tomb. Presences wander here, and they observe me as I walk through. It's odd. They're clearly interested in me, but I don't sense any hostility from them. They just watch. And yet I still feel the animosity digging into my body as the cave threatens to swallow me into an endless void. I find myself in yet another tunnel. This one simply goes straight ahead. And I see something at the end. Perhaps this tunnel does have an end. There is a silhouette, a shadow. It's dark, and yet it feels so close. And so I walk towards it. I feel my whole self being scrutinized as I walk, not just my body, but my soul too. The earth around me squirms with every step that I take towards that shadow. I can feel my lungs being deprived of the air the closer that I get. There is a chamber at the end of the hall. The silhouette becomes clear. The cave holds its breath, and the world stops as I enter the chamber. A familiar figure greets me as I step into the chamber. It's too dark to make out any details, but I can see its shape. A figure suspended in the air, its head topped with horn-like protrusions. Darkness bends all around it, folding into itself. This is the figure from Image 1697. This is the Greylock Witch. This is what Ransom found. What is this feeling? That feeling that you get when something that you thought you knew your whole life gets confirmed? Is it clarity? This is the figure that has haunted Greylock for centuries. She's real, and she's been here this whole time. I can feel eyes on me. The witch's eyes. They beckon me to the figure. My body does not feel like its own as it walks towards the suspended body. The cave remains placid as I stand in front of the looming figure. The figure holds a hand out, offering it to me. I look at the thin, frail hand, and for a moment I hesitate. And then, I raise my hand and bring it to the figure's. The sudden light is blinding, and soon I find myself in front of a wooden house. Wait. Where am I? Greylock Village, September 30th, 1697. All around me I see streets of wooden huts, not a single brick building to be seen. Is this Greylock? Thomas? The name is not my own, and yet I turn my head to the source of the call. Why did you stop? A raccoon? Ah, my apologies. I thought I speak, but it's not my mouth that moves, nor my words that are spoken. Nothing. Sorry. The raccoon in front of me raises a brow. Well, come on then. We don't want to be late for service. We walk through town on a dirt trail. I feel like I'm in a whole new world. I recognize the mountains around me, but not the town that I'm standing in. We walk amongst a group of people. The men are wearing long formal coats and hats, the women wearing dresses and bonnets. Everyone starts walking towards a single building. The biggest building that I've seen in this village so far. I know what it is right away from its steeple that punctures the sky. A church. The building is vast on the inside. You could probably fit several of those huts in this room. A crowd of people pours into the chapel, filling into the pews and sitting down with their hands clasped. I feel violated being in this building. I'm a stranger in a strange land. My body on autopilot separates from the raccoon woman. We sit down on separate sides of the chapel. My head is spinning in circles, but I can only watch. I try to move to no avail. I can only watch. Where am I? Who is this person that I'm in? A man walks up to the pulpit. A white wolf, his expression stern and serious. Where have I seen him before? Welcome back to the house of the Lord. We thank you all for being here this holy morn. An hour and a half passes by. The wolf spends the time praying and discussing Bible passages and how it applies to life. But I barely listen to the sermon as my mind races and fails to form any coherent thoughts. Reverend Shelbourne gave such an inspiring sermons. Reverend Shelbourne. Yes, I feel closer to God just by hearing him speak. That man is truly blessed. When he speaks, you listen. It's useless to try to interact with whatever's going on, so I just listen to whatever these two are saying. I'm assuming that they're married? How is a child? The woman holds her stomach, and a gentle smile tugs her muzzle. It is well. Whether it is a boy or a girl, I have no doubt that it will grow up to become a beautiful child. The rest of the day goes by without any notable events. The villagers all go back to the church for an afternoon service, with another sermon told by the same pastor. And then the person that I'm in spends the rest of the day in a field, reaping a harvest of wheat. Everything I see is so bizarre, and yet Judging by the villagers' peaceful mannerisms, this is a normal day in this village. Soon this Thomas person heads to sleep, and while I would have tossed and turned, he doesn't have a problem falling asleep. Something wakes Thomas up. A rustling outside the house, but also a sweet soft sound. Singing? His wife is still asleep next to him. He gets up and he creeps through the house, trying not to creak the wood. The door creaks as he exits the house. The sun hasn't quite risen yet. No villagers roam the street. And yet Thomas follows the noise. It leads him over to the forest. I guess he doesn't hear forest noises much. I hear this stuff all the time. Thomas keeps his ears perked as he wanders through the woods. Being in these woods, it brings me peace. Usually I dread the forest, given how dense it is and how foggy it can get. But here, perhaps Thomas can sense it too. The singing gets louder. Thomas keeps moving. It seems like he's getting closer. There is a small clearing in the trees through which the sky turning gold can be seen. And in that clearing there is a crow sitting against a tree. They are the source of the singing. It is a lovely soothing tune, paired well with the placid forest and a content expression on the crow's face. Thomas approaches the crow. It isn't long before they notice him and stop singing. Who goes there? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I heard you singing. Oh, but did you now? Who are you? Thomas. Thomas Birder. Thomas. Birder? Ah, I've heard of you. Why did you follow me? Well, I heard you singing, and I guess I was just curious. You have a lovely voice. Well then. I'm sorry to intrude, but I do wonder. Why are you all the way out here? Don't you know that heathens roam these woods? Well, I come out here often, and I've never come across any heathens. I'm out here because I feel safe here. The woods give me peace. You feel safer out here? Safer than in town and in the house of God? Yes, this is the truth. But why? The crow sighs. I may be called a heathen for this. But I do not feel safe in that town. I do not feel safe with the man that I am set to wed. But the earth and the trees, they bring me peace, especially when the leaves are as golden as the sun. Do you understand what I say, Thomas Birder? The raccoon thinks for a bit. If you do not understand, then let me ask you this. Why are you in the woods that you say that you fear? Thomas is thrown off guard by the question. But his reaction is more tame than I would have expected. He might have a reason. Well, I guess you made a confession, so I should as well. I confess nothing. I've been experiencing a crisis of faith. I prayed and gone to every service, and yet I've never heard God's call. So now I wonder, is God really out there? Is he really listening to us? I hear voices in my head. I imagine a little man sitting on my shoulders, whispering into my ear. He tells me that I am not who the villagers say that I am, that I can be someone more. He is satisfied when I come out into these woods. Truth be told, I do not know if I should listen to him. If I listen to him, would the world call me a heathen? Oh. I understand. I don't know how, but I do. You know, we're not so different, Thomas Birder. Perhaps something brought us together. Like God? Sure, if you want to believe it. Could I stay with you a bit longer? Sure. Thomas sits down next to the crow. The two of them look at the warm trees for several silent seconds. I never asked. What is your name? The crow's expression drops. I do not like my name. It is not one that suits me. When people call me that name, I do not feel like they are calling me. Oh. Well then. Is there a name that you would like me to call you? The crow considers the question before looking at Thomas. In the bird's eyes, I see clarity, confidence. Andre. Andre. Yes, I know it is a man's name, but it is a name I like. Andre. So Andre, I shall call you. Thank you. Thomas and Andre sit together in silence for several minutes. Soon Thomas works up the courage to ask another question. So, what was that song that you were singing? It was a song my grandfather sang to me. He is in heaven now, but I sing the song to honor him. The man that I am set to wed hates it, since it is not in the psalm book. He calls it heathenous. Oh, that is horrible. My condolences. Thank you. I just want to be able to sing it in the village, but I want to sing more than just the psalms at church. My grandfather said that singing was a sign of a free spirit. Your grandfather sounds like he was a wise man. Could you sing it for me? You want me to sing? Truthfully? Yes. Share your song with me. Let's be free spirits together. Thank you, Thomas. You are a good man. Andre stands up and Thomas follows his lead. The crow then walks through the forest, singing the tune that led Thomas into the forest. There are no lyrics, but rather, the sweetness comes from the melody. The bird and the raccoon punctuate the song by dancing around the clearing, swaying with the trees. The sun's rays light up the clearing and the two dance in a spotlight. This is what freedom looks like. And as I watch Thomas and Andre dance together in the golden forest, I realize something myself. I've been wanting something like this for so long. Thomas and Andre make their way back into town, clearly reluctant to separate. Thomas? Yes, Andre? Thank you again. Now, I have a question that might sound strange. Yes, what is it? Could you meet me again tomorrow morning in the same spot? And bring some shears and some of your clothes. Oh, okay. Thank you. I will see you then. Until then. And then the bird walks away with a noticeable pep in their step. Thomas returns home, where he is greeted by his wife. Where were you, Thomas? Oh, I was walking around the village. The raccoon gives him a suspicious glance. Is that it? Well, it is a beautiful morning. I just wanted to enjoy it. Well then, just be careful. The night can be dangerous. Okay. The rest of the day goes by without much occasion. Thomas carries on with his daily work and service, though there is a noticeable excitement to seeing Andre again. In fact, I myself am excited to see him again. As per Andre's request, Thomas returns to the clearing the next morning, bringing some shears and some of his spare clothing. You came? Of course. So, what is it that you want with these? So, I have a request for you that may sound odd. Could you cut my hair short? Oh, well, I've never cut a person's hair before, but I can try. Andre sits down on the forest floor, and Thomas sits right behind him. Let us see. Thomas starts by bringing the crow's hair back, so it's all flowing over his back. How short do you want it? As short as yours. Okay, The raccoon brings the shears up, and after a few seconds of guessing, he brings it down to Andre's hair around the middle of his neck. And then he starts snipping. Long strands of black hair fall to the forest floor. It's awkward for Thomas at first, but he soon gets used to it. In fact, as he cuts, I feel the warmth flowing through his body. It's a feeling I'm familiar with, but apparently it's foreign to Thomas. Oh, Thomas. Okay, how does it feel? Oh, my head feels so much lighter. It feels freer. Andre runs his hands through his short hair, and he shakes his head to feel his hair in the wind. Do you like it? I love it. Thank you, Thomas. Now, about those. He points to the change of clothes on the ground besides Thomas. Oh, you, want to wear these? Well, I just want to try them on. I've always wanted to try on a man's clothes. If that is okay with you, of course. Let him, Thomas. The raccoon hesitates for a second. Well, all right. He hands the clothes over to the bird. Thank you. I will be back. The crow then stands up and walks behind a tree. Meanwhile, Thomas looks in a different direction, allowing the bird his privacy. I can't exactly tell what he's thinking, but I can feel the conflicted feelings manifesting in his body. Oh, Thomas. How do I look? Andre stands before Thomas, dressed in one of his coats. Feel emboldened, confident. Well, it makes you look... No. Well, if it makes you happy, then... You can keep it, if you want. Oh, are you sure? Yes, it suits you well. Thank you, Thomas, for everything. Thomas? Thomas jumps at his feet at the sound of his wife's voice. Oh no. Elizabeth? What is this, Thomas? Thomas stammers and struggles to come up with an answer. He was only helping me. Helping you with what? Impersonating a man? Thomas. Is this what you were doing last morn? I just... Say something, Thomas. Elizabeth looks at Andre, and her face suddenly fills with malice. You must have enchanted my husband, placed him under a spell. Lies. We were only talking. I will not have my husband be tempted by some witch. And then the raccoon runs away, back to the town. The sense of safety that was given by this forest is shattered in an instant. Thomas and Andre can feel the two. Oh no. The duo runs back to town, trying to track the hysterical woman. They reach the town square, where they spot her running around, flailing her arms in the air. Witch! Witch! There is a witch in Greylock! The screaming raccoon attracts the attention of every villager in the square. People come out of their houses at the disturbance. I feel my stomach, or Thomas's, sink when the wolf reverend steps out of his manor. Goody Birder, what ails you, woman? There is a witch in Greylock. She notices us entering the square. And she's right there. She points at Andre. She has tempted my husband. She has led him to sin. The crowd stirs. They murmur amongst themselves. Some gather around us. Some hide in their houses. She lies. She lies, Reverend Shelbourne. Andre has done nothing wrong. What did you call the bird, Birder? She uses false names. She impersonates a man. I saw her in the woods with Thomas. I saw them dancing with the devil. The crowd yells. Some of the villagers clamor around Elizabeth while ones close to us back away in fear. Thomas and Andre look at each other with mutual anxiety. Enough. It is clear that we have a dire situation plaguing our village. There is only one way to fix this. Everyone to the church. We shall settle this in court. That feeling that I've become so used to returns, but now it chokes me right in the middle of that square. That feeling that something terrible is about to happen. The chapel is full and the people are dead quiet. Thomas, Andre, and Elizabeth sit in the front pews while Reverend Shelbourne towers over us on the pulpit. Andre is silent, staring at the floor with eyes that betray fear and great sorrow. Elizabeth stares at the crow, not even trying to hide the rage in her face. Let's start with you, Elizabeth Birder. You came to the square accusing the crow of witchcraft. Can you tell us what happened prior to this? Absolutely. Yesterday morn, I woke up and found that Thomas was not home. He had come home eventually, saying that he was walking around the town admiring the sunrise. But his clothes were dirty, like he was rolling in dirt. What are you? So come this morning, I saw him exiting our home, carrying shears and a change of his clothes. He walked out into the woods, and so curious, I followed him. And then I saw him cutting the crow's hair. And then that crow wore Thomas's clothes, a man's clothes. The crowd immediately starts murmuring. Thomas Birder, what do you say to this? Well, Thomas looks to Andre for help. The bird only gives him a side glance, a look of resignation. Just tell them the truth. It's the truth. I did cut Andre's hair, and I let her wear my clothes. Why did you cut her hair and wear your clothes? And why did you call her Andre? Because she asked me to. She told me that she didn't like her given name. That's blasphemy, Birder. The name given to you by your parents is something that you must honor. More evidence that she has bewitched my husband. She has him under spells. She controls him with the devil's power. Will you shut your mouth, woman? Birder, do not speak to your wife in that manner. She lies, Reverend. Andre never made a pact with the devil, and we never committed any sin. Quiet. The room goes silent once more. The Reverend's voice has so much power, it can command an entire chapel. I want to hear from the crow. Andre lifts his head, forcing himself to make eye contact with the menacing Reverend. Young crow, you have been accused of witchcraft. So tell us the truth. Did you make a pact with the devil? If you confess before this congregation, you can be saved by the good grace of God. I've made no such pact. I love God, and I want him to save us all. Why did you wear Thomas Birder's clothing? Why did you tell him to call you Andre? Elizabeth lies. She merely acts out of jealousy because she saw me alone with Thomas. I do not harbor lustful feelings for Thomas, nor does he to me. Reverend Shelbourne, I give my life to God. I will worship him as long as I... A shrill shriek stabs through the air of the chapel, causing another stir of the congregation. It takes a second before I realize that it's coming from Elizabeth. She flails around, backing up against the side of the pew, seemingly trying to back away from something. What ails you, woman? There is... She is a fraud, Reverend. Can't you see that she is a fraud? Quiet, birder. Talk to me, woman. What do you see? There is a crow there, flying around. He is watching me. The hysterical woman points to the high ceiling, and we all follow her finger. There's nothing there. It's the devil. The crow is bewitching me. Fraud! Fraud! You are a fraud! You accuse your wife of such an egregious sin, birder. You have to see she pretends, Reverend. Elizabeth, stop this. Elizabeth, stop this. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? It is so. Goody Birder is being bewitched right before us. Why do you believe her, Reverend? If anything, it's her bewitching you. Birder. He's flying down. Elizabeth launches off the pew and bolts down the chapel aisle. Goody Birder. The congregation clambers out of their seats and follows the shrieking raccoon outside. The raccoon cowers in the town square, and the villagers scramble around her. Soon she continues her screaming triad. I saw the crow dancing with the devil. I saw Thomas Birder dancing with the devil. Thomas Birder, what do you say about this? A rage boils inside of Thomas, and he's ready to let it all out. I say God is dead. The villagers yell. They demand action. If you will not bring yourself to God, then you will face execution for witchcraft. The villagers swarm around Thomas and Andre. The villagers drag Thomas and Andre away from the square. And I can only watch as it all happens. Soon the villagers carrying Thomas stop, but the people carrying Andre keep going. Thomas! The villagers stab 4 wooden posts into the dirt, and they tie Thomas's limbs to each of them. Meanwhile, Andre is brought over to a large tree. A villager wraps a rope around the high branch, tying the other end into a noose. Wait, no. Andre! Thomas Birder, do you confess to witchcraft? A villager places a large stone at Thomas's chest. The weight is immediately painful. Confess, and you will be saved. I confess nothing. At the tree, the noose has already been placed around Andre's neck. A villager holds the other end of the rope. And then they pull. Andre! Another stone is placed on Thomas's chest. It becomes harder for the raccoon to breathe. We will stay here until you confess, Birder. You can still save yourself, unlike the crow. You're all sinners. Welcome to Greylock. Another stone. Bones crack. May God strike this cursed village down. I'm back in the forest. It's peaceful and quiet again. and my body is my own once again. Now that I have control once again, the first thing that I do is cry. I fall on my knees in the forest clearing and I cry. Andre. I cry for Thomas. I cry for Andre. I cry for anyone else who might have been killed for something like this. And I hear another crying. It's faint, distant, but I hear it. There's someone out there who needs help. And I think I know who it is. And so I get up and I follow the sound. As I wander through the forest, the crying becomes more clear. And I hear a tune. A soothing melody. It's broken up by sorrowful hiccups, but it's there. And I'm drawn to it. The sun shines through the leaves, making them shine like stars. Against the tree, I spot a familiar figure. He's curled up, head in his arms, back twitching as he cries. Soon, he notices my approach. Thomas? No. I'm Ryan Birder. The crow's face lights up as I say my name. He immediately recognizes the last name. Ryan? Birder? All I can do is nod at him. Could I sit with you? Andre nods without hesitation. So I sit next to him, leaning against the tree. I take some time to find the words that I want to say, and then I speak to the bird. Andre, there's something that I need to tell you. He gives me his attention. I'm like you. Growing up, I felt wrong. But eventually I realized that I wasn't quite who I wanted to be, who I was meant to be. I promise, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not a witch or a devil or anything. You're just a normal person. Andre smiles, his face filling with a sorrowful joy. But it drops when he asks a question. Does it get better? I think back on my own life, and the answer is not what I want it to be. I don't know. I've always been told that it will get better. But, truth be told, I don't know if it will. We're stuck in this cycle where we take one small step forward and then we just leap backwards several times. Even 300 years later, I don't know if we got better. It just feels like this whole world is against us. The whole world wants to silence us. The whole world wants to kill us. But in my despair, I remember the people that I have in my life. The people who put their life on the line so that I can be here this very moment. Patrick. Walter. Ransom. But we keep going. We keep fighting, and we keep living. We make friends who are willing to fight for us. And you know what? That makes life worth it in the end. The crow looks at me. And then he inches closer to me and leans his head against my shoulder. He gives the type of warmth that I need to feel. And he needs to feel that warmth too. Thank you, Ryan. I look off towards the sun, which is low on the horizon. I don't know where we are, but that's okay. This is all that I need right now. I like the name Andre, by the way. I can feel the crow smiling against my shoulder. It's a strong name. It suits you well. Thank you. It was my grandfather's name. Your grandfather sounds like he was a wonderful person. He was. He really, really was. Can you promise me one thing, Ryan? Yes? Promise me that you'll bury me. And I wish to be buried away from Greylock. I wish to be buried on a tall hill so that I can be with the forest. I promise. The sun becomes brighter. Thank you, Ryan, for everything. I feel myself gently lower to the ground. When my feet meet the ground, the body falls into my arms. And so I set the frail body of Andre down to rest on the cave floor. For a moment, I just sit there, looking at the crow, realizing what I must do. Weirdly, I feel my body being filled with a new vigor, a new resolution, a new purpose. There are things that I must do. Andre, I will come back for you, and I will give you the ending that you deserve. I promise. I stand up and I turn around to face the cave. Someone stands in front of me. No, not just a single person, an entire crowd of figures gather around me. It's hard to see, but they all sustain some kind of injury. Some of them are stabbed, some of them are gutted, some of them have broken necks. They all look at me with curiosity. The person in front has a face that I recognize all too well. It's a face that I see in my dreams. Aunt Lisa? Yes, Ryan. You've been down here all this time? Yes, down here. We could do nothing but roam. We could not get out. We wandered too far into the fog, and it trapped us here. So, it's not just Lisa. This is everyone who went missing in Greylock. They all disappeared and died for this. But I can still do something. I can put these people to rest once and for all. I can save the people that I was forced to leave behind. I can give Andre peace. Will you come with me? And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So, we finally have the lore of the Witch of Greylock. And it turns out, it was kind of obvious that it wasn't really a witch. It was sort of like the whole puritanical bullshit. Like, again, did I already mention it? Or am I just barely going to mention it now? Have any of you seen The Crucible? If you have, then you probably recognize what was happening. And you might have even recognized one of the names. Goody Birder, her first name is Elizabeth. In the movie The Crucible, or I guess the story The Crucible, Goody Proctor, aka Elizabeth Proctor, is the wife of the preacher in that story. And she's the one that is like, oh, she's a witch, lock her up. But in this one, she's the one that is claiming that Andre is a witch. Just because, they were, I guess, trans, and they were jealous. I mean, it was clear that they were jealous that their husband was giving attention to somebody else, to what they would see as another woman who's then playing a man. And I'm saying this because this is what she is believing, not, that's not what's happening. And unfortunately, Puritans are Puritans, and, and technically speaking, it wasn't the witch who cursed the town, it was Thomas who cursed the town. He was the one that basically cursed them. Yeah. But now, I guess, Ryan has a job to do. He is going to lead the charge along with his aunt and an army of ghosts to, I guess, release the town from David's influence and his demons, I guess. But yeah, so he has a job to do, and he has a promise to fulfill to Andre when he's done. Hopefully he'll be able to save Ransom too while he's at it. Anywho, so yeah. What are your thoughts? Write it down in the comments, and thank you all for watching/listening. If you would like to play Image 1697 yourself, you can do so by going down to the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download and play the game along with the other visual novel that they made, in case you haven't seen the video that I did about it, just saying. If you would like to support the channel and help support me, you can do so by becoming a channel member, which gives you earlier access to these videos as they're being scheduled. And it is greatly appreciated. If you can't do that for whatever reason, or don't want to do that, you could, donate through Ko-fi. That is also appreciated. Any form of support is appreciated, so, like and subscribe, whatever. I do also have a throne in case you're feeling overly generous. But yeah, anyway, so I guess I'll be seeing you in the ending of Image 1697. I'm tired. Bye-bye.